There's been a lot of chatter, a lot of talk about the upcoming Jon Snow prequel. Is it going to be made? People have said that it has been confirmed, that HBO said it's going to be made. I'm here to tell you that's not true. In this video, we'll talk about it. What up to my thugs, nerds, freaks, and geeks? You're now rocking with the one, the only, the Don Tony Teflon. If you like reviews, recaps, theories of your favorite TV shows such as Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, and many more, do me a favor and think about subscribing to the channel, because this is where you'll get all that good stuff you're looking for. As for the Jon Snow show, of course I will want that to be made. All of us Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon fans want the Jon Snow prequel to happen, but it is not greenlit. HBO has not confirmed that they're making it, nor did they say it's not going to be made. So we are still in the same place that we were before we had the convention. Now, at this convention, people said that Jon Snow basically said that it's going to be made. He did not. I know a lot of people like my boy David Lightbringer who went there to the convention, and he has told me specifically that that was not the case. So if you're hearing this from whether it's a online site or a YouTuber or maybe from Twitter or Facebook that the Jon Snow show is going to happen, I'm here to tell you that is not the truth. That is just clickbait to get views. Now, what he did say was a few things of where Jon Snow is, where his head is at since the Game of Thrones show. So let me tell you and put you on to that.
Your character Jon Snow, he goes through such a progression throughout the seasons. He's a ward, he goes to war, so many things happen to him. He finds out that he is, he's a Targaryen, and then he unfortunately has to kill Dany, and then he goes, they throw him in jail, and then he ends up back on the wall. Do you ever feel like your character may have been cheated? He kind of goes back to really, the wall isn't exactly the most comfy place on earth. I felt bad for him.
Yeah. I think if you asked him, he would have felt he got off lightly. At the end of the show, when we find him in that cell, he's preparing to be beheaded, and he wants to be. He's done. Like, the fact he goes to the wall is the greatest gift to him, and also the greatest curse. He's got to go back up to the place with all this history and live out his life thinking about how he killed Dany, and live out his life thinking about Egret dying in his arms, and live out his life thinking about how he hung Ollie, and live out his life thinking about all of this trauma. And that's interesting. So I think that when we leave him at the end of the show, there's always this feeling of like, I think we wanted some kind of little smile, things are okay. He's not okay.
So at no point in this interview did he say anything that HBO is going to do the show, that they confirmed to him that they're willing to do the show, that they come up with the money to do the show. That's nowhere to be found. But we did get some interesting tidbits from this, and it's the mindset of Jon Snow, his mindset of Jon Snow. Now, we know that Kit Harington himself has a team, and they're the ones developing the show. So this is not the mindset that Dan and Dave had for Jon Snow. This is the one that he's came up with. And his mindset is that Jon Snow would be in a sad place, that he was ready to be beheaded. He was comfortable with being beheaded, and that's what he wanted to happen. Instead, he comes out, he kills Dany and all this stuff, and then he gets captured again. And then after he's captured the second time, he gets a reprieve from Bran to go to the wall. And he's saying it's a gift and it's a curse, because now he has to go up there and think about all the things that he's done. So it does give us a little bit of insight of where he may take this character and what he's thinking about for this prequel. Now, we heard that Sam Tarly agreed to be in this prequel with him. Also, Brienne of Tarth is supposed to be in there with him. The character of Grey Worm said that he did not want to come back. He's doing an interview with a vampire. If you haven't seen that show, it's a great show. Take a look at it. So we know that possibility we could have that. So what could be going on in the Jon Snow prequel? I'll give you some thoughts of what I think the plot could be. It could be a situation dealing with Drogon. Drogon could be up in the north. He could be doing some bad stuff up there, killing people, and Bran sees him in the vision, and that's when he sends Brienne of Tarth and Sam Tarly up there to get Jon Snow and the wildlings help to go take out Drogon, and maybe he has to kill Drogon. It could be a situation where he has to unite all of the free folk, like there's some type of uprising going on there, and some people don't like him, or some other Thens or something come up there, and he has no choice but to unite them and become the new Mance Rayder, become the new king beyond the wall, the Targaryen king beyond the wall. He did not talk about his lineage. He did not talk about, the question was, he found out that he was a Targaryen and that he could be king. He didn't talk about that, Kit Harington. He didn't say anything about his lineage, so possibly he's not even thinking about that part of it for the show, that he's really just wants to do the part of him being beyond the wall. And if that's the case, I think the easiest way to do that would be him becoming the new Mance Rayder, him being out there and just trying to unite all of these people, unite all the wildlings and get them on his side. I think that's the easiest show if they were going to make. I think that's the easier one. Now, him going to have to go and find Drogon, take Drogon out and kill Drogon, that is a totally different show. Now, would you be happy with that? We've known he's killed Daenerys. That Jon Snow, after that, goes on and he hunts down her dragon, her last child, and has to kill Drogon. Now, we don't know if this is going to be a multiple season show. I think it's only supposed to be one season. And if that's the case, Kit Harington could be setting himself up to die, to kill off the character of Jon Snow after this. That, hey, he does go off and hunt Drogon. And when he does go hunt Drogon, he winds up getting killed and then paying for all this. Because it seems like Kit Harington wants the character to die. It's thinking that Jon would have been more comfortable dying than he would be alive. And we've seen this already, right? When Melisandre brought him back, we heard him say straight up, if I die again, don't bring me back, right? I don't want to come back. Like, so you could see that this could be the way that they decide to go, that, hey, he wants to die. He doesn't want to deal with anything anymore. And this could be, maybe people would be happy about that. Oh, Daenerys died. Now Drogon kills Jon Snow. And now everybody is happy in the end. It could be a situation like that. Now, you could also have the possibility, if you bring back Emilia Clarke and make her the Night's Queen, make her get resurrected by the White Walkers, put her on there, and then she becomes the Night's Queen, and now you have a new threat to everything going on. You have Emilia Clarke as the Night's Queen riding on Drogon. Maybe this time they could give the dragon some ice instead of some blue flame, and there could be a whole situation where he has to go and get her when it's all said and done. Now, I would like it if they did something like that, that he can't beat her, that he can't kill her, and in the end, all he can do is sacrifice himself, allow her to touch him, and become the new Night's King. And then they can go off together as the king and queen of the White Walkers and just be off somewhere else, and that's the way it ends. I would love to see that show if they did that. There's a lot of different things that can go down, but what would you like to see? If you could write the script, or you think Kit Harington is going to see it, what would you put it in the comment section? What would you like to see? Now, evidently, he went to George R. R. Martin personally, and he talked to him, and he told him his plan and what he wants to happen. And George R. R. Martin kind of like okayed it and said that he thought it was a good idea. And I think George has come out and said that he's seen some type of the drafts, and he thought that the drafts were excellent. Now, I'm sure George has given him some hints of where he thought the character of Jon Snow would go, because you have to understand that it was in the contract of HBO that they were allowed to make up an ending if George R.R. Martin did not provide one with the books. So that's exactly what happened with this ending. This ending was made up. This is not going to be the exact same ending that we get from the books. That was in their contract specifically for them to do that. Probably knowing the way George writes, it was a good chance they were going to have to come up with their own ending, and that's what they did. But I'm sure George has a plan for Jon Snow. So I'm sure he went down there, talked to George, said, hey, does this fit kind of in your canon? Would you be cool if I did this like this? And George apparently has okayed it and said it's okay. So that is what we know so far about the Jon Snow sequel. It has not been greenlit. All right, let's get that right out the way. We don't know if it's going to be made. We have no idea. If I had to bet on it, I would bet on the star power of Kit Harington and that he could get this made, and if they're going to get it done. But as of right now, it has not been greenlit. Maybe in the future it will be, but right now it has not. So do yourself a favor. Don't believe everything you hear on the internet. I think, your parents may have told you that, right? But you can believe this right here. And if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm, and as always, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.